I stood in front of the floor-length mirror, adjusting my silk dress one last time. The mother of the groom dress I'd spent weeks choosing suddenly felt like a costume. My hands trembled as I smoothed down the fabric, remembering how Natalia had sneered when I mentioned I'd be wearing navy blue. "How appropriate," she'd said, her voice dripping with disdain. "I'm Kendall, and today my stepson is getting married. For 15 years, I've been more of a mother to him than his birth mother ever was, but you wouldn't know it from the wedding preparations. 5 minutes until the ceremony." The wedding coordinator's voice echoed through the church hallway. I took a deep breath and stepped out of the powder room. The familiar scent of lilies filled the air. Natalia's choice, of course. She'd steamrolled over Bianca's preference for simple wildflowers, just like she'd done with every other wedding decision. "Kendall," Jade, my best friend, hurried toward me in her burgundy bridesmaid dress. "You look stunning." "Thanks," I whispered, forcing a smile. "Have you seen Liam? He's with his mother." The way Jade emphasized mother made my stomach clench. "They're in the bride's room." Of course they were. I'd learned to expect these little exclusions over the years, but today they stung more than usual. I made my way to the ceremony, taking my assigned seat in the second row. Shane, my husband, squeezed my hand as I sat down. "You okay?" he murmured. Before I could answer, the music started. Bianca looked radiant walking down the aisle, but my eyes were fixed on Liam, my boy. The same kid who'd crawl into my bed during thunderstorms, who'd helped me in my first restaurant's kitchen, who'd called me Mom until Natalia put a stop to it. The ceremony was beautiful, despite Natalia's theatrical sniffling from the front row. Everything went perfectly until the reception. I should have known something was wrong when Liam avoided my gaze during the family photos. When the photographer called for mother and son shots, Natalia practically sprinted forward, shooting me a triumphant look. "Actually," I said, stepping forward, "maybe we could do one with both." "Mom's fine," Liam cut in, his voice sharp. "Just Mom." The silence that followed was deafening. I felt every eye in the room on me as I stepped back, my cheeks burning. But that was just the beginning. During the reception, I watched Liam approach the microphone for his speech. My heart swelled with pride, remembering the nervous teenager who'd once been terrified of public speaking. "I want to thank everyone for being here today," he began, his voice strong and clear. "Especially my mother, who's always been there for me, who's shaped me into the man I am today." I smiled, touched until I realized he was looking directly at Natalia. "And I need to address something," he continued. "There's been some confusion over the years, but I want to make it clear. I have one mother, and that's Natalia Peters. Kendall might be married to my father, but she's not my mother. She never was, and she never will be." The champagne glass nearly slipped from my fingers. Across the room, Natalia was beaming, tears streaming down her face. Shane's hand found mine under the table, but I pulled away. "I'm sorry if that hurts anyone's feelings," Liam added, not sounding sorry at all. "But it's time to set the record straight." Jade reached for me, but I was already standing. The room spun as I made my way to the exit, past the whispers and stares. Behind me, I heard Bianca calling Liam's name in a shocked tone, but I couldn't stop. In the hallway, I ran into Helen, Shane's sister. She caught my arm as I stumbled past. "Kendall, wait," she said, her eyes fierce. "There's something you need to know." "Not now, Helen," I choked out. "Yes, now." Her grip tightened. "You think you know this family. You don't know anything. But I do. I know why Natalia's always been so threatened by you. Why she's poisoned Liam against you all these years." I tried to pull away, but her next words froze me in place. What would precious Natalia do if everyone knew the truth about Liam's real father? The world stopped spinning. I stared at Helen, my heart pounding in my ears. "What are you talking about?" Helen's smile was sharp as broken glass. "Meet me tomorrow. I'll tell you everything." I watched her walk away, my mind racing. Behind me, the reception continued, music and laughter spilling into the hallway. 15 years of love and sacrifice, thrown back in my face. But now, for the first time, I had a chance to fight back. The question was, how far was I willing to go? The morning after the wedding, I sat across from Helen at my empty restaurant, watching her stir her third spoonful of sugar into her coffee. The place wouldn't open for hours, but I couldn't risk being overheard. "You're probably wondering why I never said anything before," Helen said, tapping her spoon against the rim of her cup. "I'm wondering if you're just trying to stir up trouble," I replied. "You haven't exactly been a stable presence in this family." Helen laughed, but there was no humor in it. "That's what they want everyone to think, isn't it? Crazy Helen, the family embarrassment. Did Shane ever tell you why I stopped coming to family events?" I shook my head. Shane rarely talked about his sister. "It was right after Liam was born. I caught Natalia with—" She paused, taking a sip of coffee. "Well, let's just say she wasn't with Shane." "That doesn't prove anything," I said, but my hands were shaking as I remembered my first introduction to this family. "Remember when you first started dating Shane?" Helen asked, as if reading my mind. "How Natalia suddenly started showing up at every family dinner every weekend?" I did remember. It had been 12 years ago, but the memories were crystal clear. "You brought homemade lasagna to that first dinner," Helen continued. "Natalia took one look at it and said, 'We don't eat peasant food in this house,'" I finished. Then she ordered takeout from that expensive Italian place. She was marking her territory. She knew you were different. You actually cared about Liam, not just appearances. A knock at the restaurant's window made us both jump. It was Jade, right on time. I'd asked her to come. I needed a witness I could trust. "Sorry I'm late," Jade said as I let her in. "Traffic was—" "Helen, what are you doing here?" "Telling truths that should have been told years ago," Helen replied. Jade looked at me questioningly as she sat down. I nodded, silently asking her to listen. "I have proof," Helen said, pulling out her phone. "Emails, text messages, photos." Natalia wasn't as careful back then as she thought. She slid the phone across the table. The timestamps on the messages were from 25 years ago, but the content made my stomach turn. "That's not all," Helen continued. "Remember last Christmas, when Liam had that health scare?" I did. He'd needed a blood transfusion after a car accident. Shane hadn't been a match. "The doctor said that happens sometimes," I said weakly. "It happens when the father isn't the father," Helen corrected. "Shane knows. He's always known. Why do you think he drinks so much at family functions?" "If this is true," Jade interrupted, "why tell Kendall now?" Helen's face softened. "Because I watched you yesterday, Kendall. I watched you love that boy for 15 years. I watched you show up to every game, every graduation, every milestone. I watched you build this restaurant from nothing while Natalia used her family's money to tear you down. And yesterday, I watched that kid break your heart because his mother poisoned him against you." Tears burned in my eyes. "He was only 10 when I married Shane. He used to—" I swallowed hard. "He used to call me Mom when Natalia wasn't around." "Until she found out," Helen finished. "Then suddenly you were just Kendall, or my dad's wife." "I remember that summer," Jade said quietly. "You cried for days." "Natalia's been so afraid of losing her grip on Liam that she's spent years making sure you could never threaten her position," Helen said. "But she's the fraud, not you." My phone buzzed. A text from Shane. "Where are you? We need to talk about yesterday." "What am I supposed to do with this information?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "That's up to you," Helen said, standing. "But remember, Natalia's power comes from appearances, and now you know what's behind them." After Helen left, Jade moved to sit beside me. "Are you okay?" "No," I admitted. "I keep thinking about all the times Natalia called me an outsider, a gold digger, all the times she told Liam I was trying to replace her. She knew the whole time she was the one living a lie." "What are you going to do?" I looked at my phone, at Shane's message waiting for a response, at the wedding photos already popping up on social media, showing the perfect family moment when Liam had publicly rejected me. "I don't know," I said, "but I'm done being the villain in their story." Jade squeezed my hand. "Whatever you decide, I'm here." I nodded. thinking of the way Liam had looked at me yesterday, with such practiced disdain, thinking of all the years Natalia had spent crafting that moment. Helen's right about one thing, I said finally. This family runs on appearances. Maybe it's time someone shattered them. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Shane. Natalia's asking about you. Says she wants to clear the air. I bet she does, I thought, closing my eyes. After all these years of playing by their rules, maybe it was time to write my own. I sat in my car outside Natalia's sprawling mansion. Helen's phone clutched in my hand. She'd given it to me before leaving the restaurant, saying I might need the evidence. Now, watching Natalia's silhouette move behind gauzy curtains, I felt my resolve strengthen. The front door opened before I could knock. Natalia stood there in a cream-colored cashmere sweater, perfect makeup hiding any signs of yesterday's celebrations. "Kendall," she said, her voice honey-sweet, "I'm so glad you came." I followed her into the living room, where Shane sat nursing what looked like scotch, at 2 p.m. "Darling," he said, standing awkwardly, "we've been worried." "Have you?" I kept my voice neutral. "That's interesting." Natalia perched on the edge of her designer sofa. "About yesterday. I know Liam's speech must have hurt you, but you have to understand." "Oh, I understand plenty," I cut in. "In fact, I had a fascinating conversation with Helen this morning." The glass in Shane's hand trembled slightly. Natalia's smile froze. "Helen?" she said. "I wasn't aware she was in town." "She never left. She's been watching this family's performance for years." I pulled out Helen's phone. She kept excellent records. Shane set his glass down hard enough to slosh liquid over the rim. "Whatever Helen told you, is it true?" I turned to face my husband. "Did you know? All this time, did you know Liam wasn't yours?" The silence that followed was deafening. Natalia's face had gone chalk white. "Those are dangerous accusations," she finally said, but her voice shook. "Answer me, Shane." He wouldn't meet my eyes. "It was complicated." "Complicated?" I laughed, the sound harsh even to my own ears. "Was it complicated when you watched me try to be a mother to your son for 15 years? Was it complicated when you let Natalia tear me down again and again, knowing she was living a lie?" "You don't understand," Natalia started. "Show me the messages, or I'll show them to everyone else." I held up Helen's phone. "Your choice." Natalia's composure cracked. "Fine. Yes, okay. Michael was... We were in love, but he was married, and my family would have cut me off if they knew. Shane agreed to help. For a price, I guessed, looking at my husband. What did they offer you? Money? Status?" Shane took another drink. "Her father got me the partnership at the firm." The pieces clicked into place. The country club membership, the sudden promotion, the way Shane had always deferred to Natalia's family. "Does Liam know?" "Of course not," Natalia snapped. "And he never will. It would destroy him." "Like you destroyed me yesterday?" I stood up. "Like you've been destroying me for years?" "That was different," she protested. "I had to protect my relationship with my son, by making him hate me, by turning every act of love I showed him into something sinister." "Please," Shane said, finally finding his voice. "Think about what this would do to Liam, to the family." "Family?" I turned on him. "You mean the family that stood by while your son humiliated me at his wedding? The family that's been living a lie for 25 years? "What do you want?" Natalia asked, her voice small. I pulled out my phone and played the recording of our entire conversation. Natalia's face went from white to grey. "You recorded us." "I learned from the best," I said. "You taught me all about protecting myself, remember?" "Name your price," she whispered. "I don't want your money." I walked to the door, then turned back. "I want you to remember this moment. Remember that I know. Remember that every time you try to hurt me or push me out, I have the power to bring everything crashing down." "You wouldn't," Shane said. "Think about Liam." "I have thought about Liam. For 15 years, he's all I've thought about." I met Natalia's eyes. "The question is, have you? Have you thought about what your lies have done to him, or were you too busy protecting your own image? I left them there. Natalia collapsed on her sofa, Shane standing helplessly beside her. In my car, my hands shook as I called Jade. "How did it go?" she asked. "It's true, all of it." I started the engine. They admitted everything. "Are you going to tell Liam?" I thought about his face at the wedding, the carefully crafted disdain. Thought about all the years of manipulation that had created that moment. "I don't know yet," I said honestly, "but I'm done being their victim." As I drove away from Natalia's perfect house, with its perfect facade hiding decades of lies, I felt something I hadn't felt in years: power. The question was, what would I do with it? Shane was waiting in our kitchen when I got home, a half-empty bottle of scotch on the counter. His tie was loose, his hair disheveled, a far cry from the polished lawyer everyone else saw. "We need to talk," he said. "Now you want to talk?" I grabbed a wine glass from the cabinet. 15 years of watching me try to be a mother to your son, sorry, Natalia's son, and now you want to talk. I know I should have told you. Should have? The wine bottle clinked hard against the glass. You watched me build a relationship with Liam. You watched Natalia systematically destroy it. And you said nothing. It wasn't that simple. Stop saying that. The glass slammed down on the counter. It was exactly that simple. You chose money and status over honesty, over me. Shane ran his hands through his hair. What do you want me to say? That I was a coward? Fine, I was a coward. I still am. At least you're finally being honest. Kendall, please. He reached for me, but I stepped back. Whatever you're planning to do with that recording, you mean like what Natalia's been doing to me for years, manipulating, threatening. This is different. Why? Because it's happening to you. The doorbell rang. Through the glass, I saw Liam standing on our porch. Shane's face went pale. "Don't," he whispered. I opened the door. Liam stood there in his honeymoon clothes, looking uncertain. "Can we talk?" he asked. I stepped aside to let him in. He noticed Shane and frowned. "Dad? What are you doing here?" "I live here," Shane said weakly. "You're supposed to be at the airport with Mom, seeing us off." Liam's eyes narrowed. "What's going on?" I poured another glass of wine, sliding it across the counter to Liam. Interesting choice of words. "Mom." "Don't," Shane warned again. "Don't what?" Liam looked between us. "What's happening?" "Your father and I were just discussing family," I said. Specifically, how far people will go to protect their image of a perfect one. If this is about what I said at the wedding, it's about what everyone's been saying, and not saying, for 25 years. Shane stepped forward. "Kendall, think about what you're doing. Like you thought about what you were doing when you married me without telling me the truth." "What truth?" Liam demanded. The moment hung there, heavy with 2 decades of lies. I looked at Liam, really looked at him. The shape of his eyes, the set of his jaw. None of it was Shane's. "Your mother came to see me today," I said finally, "to clear the air about the wedding." "She told me she was going to apologize," Liam said, "for how things got out of hand." I laughed. "Is that what she called it? Things getting out of hand?" "Kendall," Shane pleaded. "No." I turned to Liam. "You want to know why your mother has spent 15 years making sure you never got too close to me? Why she's been so desperate to maintain control?" "Stop," Shane said, but his voice was weak. "Because she's been protecting her biggest lie." I pulled out my phone. "Want to hear it?" "Don't do this," Shane whispered. Liam's face had gone still. "Play it." I pressed play. Natalia's voice filled the kitchen, confessing everything. Shane's face crumpled as his own voice joined in, admitting to the decades-long deception. When it finished, Liam didn't move, didn't speak, just stared at his glass of wine. "Liam," Shane started. "Don't." Liam's voice was ice. "Don't touch me. Don't speak to me." "Your mother." "Which one?" Liam laughed, a horrible broken sound. "The one who's been lying to me my whole life, Or the one I publicly humiliated because the first one told me to? He turned to me, his eyes bright with unshed tears. Did you know? Before today? Helen told me this morning. Helen. He shook his head. The crazy aunt who isn't actually my aunt. Because nothing in my life is what I thought it was. Son. Shane reached for him. I said, don't touch me. Liam knocked the wineglass over, red liquid spreading across the counter like blood. I need to. He stumbled toward the door. I started to follow, but he held up his hand. Don't. Please, I need time. The door slammed behind him. Shane slumped against the counter, looking older than I'd ever seen him. Are you happy now? He asked. Happy? I stared at the spilled wine. No, but at least I'm not lying anymore. My phone buzzed. Natalia calling. I declined it, watching as text messages started flooding in. Threats, probably. Please. Too little. Too late. He'll never forgive any of us, Shane said. Maybe not, I agreed. But at least now he can make that choice based on the truth. I left Shane in the kitchen with his scotch and guilt, heading upstairs to pack a bag. I couldn't stay here tonight, watching the family I thought I had dissolve in a pool of decades-old lies. The truth was out. Now we all had to live with the consequences. 3 days after the revelation, I was wiping down tables at my restaurant when Bianca walked in. She looked exhausted, still in her honeymoon clothes. We came back early, she said, sliding into a booth. Liam couldn't pretend everything was normal. I poured her a cup of coffee. How is he? Destroyed. She wrapped her hands around the mug. He spent 2 days just staring at old family photos, like he was trying to see the lies in them. I'm sorry. Are you? Her eyes met mine. Really? I'm sorry he's hurting. I'm not sorry for telling the truth. Jade emerged from the kitchen, stopping short when she saw Bianca. Oh, I'll come back. Stay, Bianca said. I actually wanted to talk to both of you. Jade sat beside me, her hand finding mine under the table. Natalia showed up at our hotel this morning, Bianca continued. She was different, broken. She told Liam everything. Everything? About Michael, his real father, about the arrangement with Shane, about how she's been... Bianca paused, choosing her words carefully. Manipulating things. With you. My throat tightened. Did she tell him why? She said she was terrified of losing him, that watching you become his mother figure made her crazy with jealousy. Bianca took a sip of coffee. She admitted to poisoning him against you. Said she'd been doing it since you married Shane. I knew that part, I said quietly. But did you know Liam used to cry himself to sleep after she told him he couldn't call you Mom anymore? That she threatened to send him to boarding school if he got too close to you? The pain was fresh again, sharp as broken glass. No. He told me everything last night. How much he loved you, how confused he was when his mother kept telling him you were trying to steal him away. Bianca's voice cracked. He said the wedding speech was her idea. She told him it would prove his loyalty once and for all. Jesus, Jade whispered. Where is he now? I asked. At Helen's, actually. She's been helpful, filling in the blanks. My phone buzzed. Another text from Shane. I'd been staying at Jade's, ignoring his messages. He's been calling Liam too, Bianca said, noticing. Liam won't answer. Can you blame him? No. She straightened up. But that's not why I'm here. The wedding reception, the real one, is tomorrow night. I blinked. What? The country club event. The one Natalia planned for all their society friends who couldn't make it to the actual wedding. Her smile was bitter. She's been reminding everyone about it all year. Surely she's cancelling it. She can't. Too many important people coming. Family reputation to maintain. Bianca's voice dripped sarcasm. But Liam wants you there. Me? Why? Because he's giving a speech, a real one this time. She stood up, dropping a business card on the table. That's the address, 7 o'clock. Bianca, I called as she reached the door. Why are you doing this? She turned back. Because I love him. And because I've spent the last 3 days watching him realize his whole life was built on lies, except for you. You were the only real thing in it. After she left, Jade picked up the business card. Are you going? I don't know. I stared at my phone, at Shane's unanswered messages. Should I? What does your heart say? My heart? I laughed humorlessly. My heart is still trying to process everything. Then process this, Jade said firmly. That boy is drowning in lies and betrayal. He needs something real to hold on to. I'm the one who blew his world apart. No, honey. You're the one who finally let the truth in. My phone buzzed again. Natalia this time. The text was short. Please come tomorrow. Let him say what he needs to say. It could be another trap, I said. Could be, Jade agreed, but it could also be a chance for healing. I thought about Liam as a child, crawling into my bed during storms, about teaching him to cook in this very kitchen, about all the love I'd given freely, never expecting anything in return. If I go, I said slowly, will you come with me? Try and stop me. Jade squeezed my hand. Besides, someone needs to keep you from dumping wine on Natalia's designer dress. That was one time. The Christmas party of 2019, I remember it well. We laughed, and for a moment, the weight lifted. Then my phone buzzed one more time. A text from Liam himself, the first since that night in my kitchen. I understand if you don't come tomorrow, but I hope you do. I have things I need to say. Things I should have said years ago. I showed Jade the message. Well, she said, looks like we need to find you something to wear. I nodded, my heart racing. Tomorrow night I'd walk back into the lion's den. But this time, I wouldn't be walking in blind. This time, I had the truth on my side. The country club ballroom sparkled with crystal chandeliers and old money. Jade and I stood at the entrance, my heart pounding beneath my emerald silk dress. You can still back out, Jade whispered. No, I said, watching Natalia flit between guests in a designer gown. I can't. We made our way inside. The whispers started immediately. The society wives who'd witnessed my humiliation at the wedding couldn't believe I'd shown my face again. Kendall. Helen appeared beside me, champagne in hand. You came. Is Liam here? Getting ready in the library. He's... She paused. Different. Stronger, maybe. Shane materialized from the crowd, stopping short when he saw me. He looked haggard, his usual polish dulled by days of guilt and scotch. You look beautiful, he said quietly. Don't, I warned. Kendall, please, we need to... Ladies and gentlemen, the event coordinator's voice cut through the tension. Please take your seats for dinner. I ended up at a table with Jade and Helen, as far from Shane as possible. Natalia sat at the head table, her perfect mask showing cracks around the edges. Bianca sat beside her, back straight, eyes forward. Where's Liam? Someone whispered loudly. As if on cue, he appeared at the microphone. The room fell silent. I know you're all expecting another wedding speech, he began, his voice steady. But this isn't that kind of night. Natalia's champagne glass froze halfway to her lips. 3 days ago, I learned that my entire life was built on lies. His words cut through the room like a knife. I learned that the man I called father isn't my biological father, that my mother orchestrated a decades-long deception to maintain her social standing. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Shane stared at his plate. Natalia's face had gone white. But that's not the worst part, Liam continued. The worst part is what those lies made me do, what they made me become. His eyes found mine across the room. Kendall, he said, and my heart stopped. When I was 10 years old, you came into my life. You taught me to cook. You helped me with my science projects. You showed up to every game, every performance, every moment that mattered. Tears pricked at my eyes. And I repaid that love with cruelty, his voice cracked, because my mother, my biological mother, convinced me that your love was a threat, that I had to choose between you and her. Natalia stood up, swaying slightly. Liam, please. No, Mom, You don't get to stop this, not anymore. He turned back to me. At my wedding, I said things that can never be unsaid. I hurt you in ways I can never fully repair. And I did it because I was too weak, too afraid to stand up to the lies I'd been fed my whole life. The room was dead silent now, every eye either on Liam or me. I don't expect forgiveness, he continued. I don't deserve it. But I need you to know that you were the mother I needed. The mother who loved me without conditions, without manipulation, without agenda. And I threw that love away because I was too blind to see the truth. Jade squeezed my hand under the table as tears rolled down my cheeks. To everyone here tonight, Liam's voice strengthened. You came expecting to celebrate a perfect family. But perfection built on lies isn't perfection at all. It's just another lie. He stepped away from the microphone, then stopped and turned back. Kendall, he said, his voice raw. I'm sorry for everything, and... He swallowed hard. I love you, Mom. The room erupted in whispers. Natalia collapsed back into her chair. Shane was openly crying now. Liam walked straight to our table. Without a word, he knelt beside my chair. I understand if you can't forgive me, he whispered, but please know that every word was true. I pulled him into my arms, feeling him shake with silent sobs. I forgive you, I whispered back. I forgave you the moment you were born. Around us, the perfect society event dissolved into chaos. Guests whispered and pointed. Someone dropped a glass. Natalia fled the room, Bianca following close behind, but none of it mattered. All that mattered was this moment, this truth, this love that had survived years of lies and manipulation. What happens now? Liam asked, pulling back to look at me. Now, I smiled through my tears. Now we start over. No more lies, no more perfect facades. Just truth. And family, he added. Real family. Helen raised her champagne glass. To truth, she said loudly, and to the death of perfect lies. One by one, other glasses raised. Jade's, mine, Liam's, even Shane's from across the room. The perfect society wedding reception had become something else entirely, a moment of raw, honest redemption. As Liam sat down beside me, taking my hand in his, I realized something profound. Sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't destruction at all. Sometimes it's simply letting the truth be heard. The morning after the reception, I was in my restaurant's kitchen, stress-baking bread when Natalia walked in. She looked different. No designer clothes, no perfect makeup, just a woman worn down by her own lies. Your staff let me in, she said quietly. I kept kneading the dough. What do you want, Natalia? To talk, please. I nodded toward the prep counter. She perched awkwardly on a stool, looking out of place among the industrial appliances. I've never been in your kitchen before, she said. You made it clear this was beneath you. I made a lot of things clear that weren't true. She watched me work the dough. Did you know I can't cook? Not a single thing. My mother said it wasn't necessary for someone of our status. Is that supposed to make me feel sorry for you? No. She twisted her wedding ring. Nothing could make up for what I've done. The back door opened and Liam walked in, stopping short when he saw his mother. I can come back, he said. Stay, I told him. Your mother was just explaining herself. He moved to stand beside me, automatically reaching for an apron. I'd taught him years ago how to tie it properly. You know how to bake? Natalia asked, surprised. Kendall taught me when I was 12. He began measuring ingredients for the next batch. Remember that summer I said I was at soccer camp? I was here instead, learning to make croissants. Natalia's face crumpled. More lies. You taught me well, Liam said coldly. I deserve that. You deserve worse. He slammed the measuring cup down. Do you know what it's like to realize your whole life was orchestrated? That every time I pulled away from Kendall, every time I hurt her, I was just playing my part in your script. I was trying to protect you. From what? Love? Acceptance? Someone who actually saw me as more than an accessory to their perfect life? The kitchen door swung open again. This time it was Bianca. I thought I'd find you both here, she said. The lawyers are waiting. My hand stilled. Lawyers? For the annulment, Bianca explained. We're having the marriage annulled, starting fresh, on honest ground this time. You don't have to do that, Natalia protested. Yes, we do. Liam wiped flour from his hands. Everything about that wedding was built on lies. The speech you made me give, the way you orchestrated every detail to maintain your image, the way you tried to make Bianca feel as inadequate as you made me feel, I added. Natalia flinched. I never meant... Yes, you did, Bianca cut in. But it didn't work. Because Liam and I, we're real. Unlike everything you created. When's the new wedding? I asked. 3 months, Liam said. Small ceremony. No society pages, no country club. Just family. Real family. He looked at me meaningfully. My heart swelled. And me? Natalia's voice was small. Will I be invited? That depends, Liam said. Are you ready to be real? To stop manipulating and controlling? To accept that Kendall is as much my mother as you are, maybe more? Tears spilled down Natalia's cheeks. I don't know how to be real anymore. Then learn, Bianca said firmly. Get therapy. Deal with whatever made you need control so badly that you destroyed everyone around you. Starting with telling Michael the truth, Liam added. My real father deserves to know. Natalia nodded slowly. He's in Seattle now. I found him last night. Good. Liam turned back to the bread dough. That's a start. The lawyers are waiting, Bianca reminded him gently. He looked at me. Will you come with us? Of course. Natalia stood, smoothing her wrinkled clothes. I should go. Mum, Liam called as she reached the door. She turned, hope flickering across her face. When you're ready, really ready, to be honest, to be real, call me. She nodded, tears falling freely now, and left. Are you okay? I asked Liam. He looked at the half-kneaded dough, at Bianca, at me. No, but I will be. We all will be. The bread can wait, I said, untying my apron. Actually, Bianca smiled, could you teach me? After the lawyers, I mean. Liam talks about your baking lessons like they were magic. They were, Liam said softly. They still are. I hugged them both, flour dust and all. Then we'll make magic together. A fresh start, with honest ingredients. As we headed to meet the lawyers, I thought about how revenge had transformed into something else entirely. Not the destruction of a perfect facade, but the building of something real in its place. Something made of truth and love, and maybe even a little bit of magic. Just like my bread. The autumn breeze carried the scent of fresh bread through my restaurant's open windows as I arranged flowers on the tables. Simple wildflowers. Bianca's choice this time, not Natalia's. Need help? Shane stood in the doorway, looking uncertain. You can start with the centerpieces. I handed him a vase. Just don't expect me to forget everything because you're helping with wedding preparations. I wouldn't dream of it. He placed the flowers carefully. The divorce papers came through yesterday. I know, Helen told me. Are you happy? I paused, considering. I'm free. That's better than happy. The kitchen door swung open and Liam emerged, flour dusting his chef's whites. The bread's done. Bianca's finishing the last batch of pastries. You taught her well, Shane said. Kendall taught us both well, Liam corrected. The door chimed and Natalia walked in, looking different than she had 3 months ago. Simpler, more human. The therapist said I should come, she said. If that's okay. I nodded. There's bread that needs slicing in the kitchen. She hesitated, then rolled up her sleeves and disappeared through the swinging door. That's new, Shane commented. She's trying, Liam said. Actually trying, not just performing. Helen burst in, arms full of fairy lights. The garden's ready. Jade's supervising the setup. A garden wedding, Shane mused. Not exactly the society pages. That's the point, Liam said. Real, not perfect. I watched through the kitchen window as Natalia awkwardly sliced bread, Bianca gently correcting her technique. No designer clothes, no perfect makeup, just two women finding their way to something authentic. I should check on them, Liam said, heading back to the kitchen. He's happy, Shane observed. Really happy, not just playing the part. Because he's finally free to be himself. Thanks to you. No, I corrected. Thanks to truth. The afternoon flowed into evening. Guests arrived, not society figures this time, but real friends, real family. The garden glowed with fairy lights as Liam and Bianca exchanged honest vows under a canopy of stars. During the reception, held in my restaurant, Natalia approached my table. "The bread is perfect," she said. "I never knew. I never let myself know how much work goes into creating something real." "It's never too late to learn," she nodded. "Michael, Liam's father, he's coming next week. To meet him properly." "How do you feel about that?" "Terrified, relieved, like maybe I can finally stop pretending." The music changed, and Liam appeared beside us. "Mom," he said, looking at me. "Dance with me?" As we swayed under the fairy lights, I saw Shane and Helen talking quietly in a corner. Natalia teaching Bianca's young cousin how to properly hold a bread knife, Jade directing the catering staff with her usual efficiency. "Thank you," Liam said suddenly. "For what?" "For not giving up on me. For showing me what real love looks like." He smiled. "For teaching me that perfect isn't the same as true." Speaking of true, I nodded toward the door where a tall man had just walked in, looking nervous. "I think that's Michael." Liam tensed, then relaxed. "Would you come with me? To meet him?" "Are you sure? Natalia is learning to share." He squeezed my hand. "I have room in my heart for all my parents, the ones who gave me life, and the one who taught me how to live it." We walked together toward Michael, toward truth, toward whatever came next. Behind us, the fairy lights twinkled, the bread filled the air with warmth, and love, real love, filled every corner of the room. "Ready?" I asked. Liam took a deep breath. "Ready." As we approached Michael, I realized something profound. Revenge hadn't destroyed this family. It had transformed it. Like bread dough, under gentle hands, it had been kneaded and shaped into something new, something real. Not perfect, not flawless, but true. And in the end, that was better than any revenge could ever be. "Hi," Liam said to Michael. "I'm your son." Michael's eyes filled with tears. "I know," he said. "I've always known." I started to step away, but Liam held on to my hand. "And this," he said proudly, "is my mom." Around us, the wedding celebration continued, not a performance this time, but a genuine celebration of love in all its imperfect, beautiful forms. The revenge I'd sought had given way to something far more powerful, the truth that had set us all free.